Right. Okay. So in today's video, we're going to talk about why the next generation is destined to fail. And if you are a Gen Zer, this video might trigger you. But at the same time, I'm not here to sugarcoat things. I'm here to actually help. If you're between the ages of 12 and 27, born between 97 and 2012, and you actually want to make a future, listen up. I'll actually show you the way. So let's start off with some facts. So 95% of Gen Zers experience burnout. And how is that even possible when you're in your early 20s? 25% of Gen Zers face unmanageable stress and 50% feel drained. It's statistically proven that Gen Z is actually the most stressed generation of all time. And even from an employer's perspective, and that includes myself, these are some common observations. 6 out of 10 employers report firing Gen Z grads within months of hiring them. Listen to that, within months. 1 in 7 employers are actually saying they're stop hiring new graduates altogether. Again, speaking volumes. And 75% of companies are actually reporting that the Gen Z hires were performing at an unsatisfactory standard. 50% say Gen Z workers lack motivation, and 40% say that they actually lack communication skills, and 45% report a lack of professional. So these statistics are absolutely insane in terms of what we're actually speaking. It's really hard to believe. But look, it's not all doom and gloom. If you don't want to be part of that 95% and you want to be in that 5% of people who want to succeed and be successful, you need to go above and beyond. And if you listen in and listen closely and attentively and apply what we're talking about and think about what you should do versus what you shouldn't do, then you're going to have a chance at being successful. So let's start off with work ethic. So if you do want to be truly successful, you need to work 100 plus hours a week. That's right, 100 plus. People are obviously concerned these days about like mental health, but look, let's be real. The way most people talk about it isn't even helpful. Sometimes people come across self-help books, developmental quotes, things like, the key to life is to avoid suffering. And it really warps the way you view life. Life is hard, and going through tough times is actually part of the journey. That's what makes you, it's what develops you into a person. And people are afraid to go through any adversity. They'll start to cry. They'll put their head in the sand. And what's actually happening is called growth. And people are too scared to feel anything because they're too soft and sensitive. So again, get off social media and Twitter and, get yourself away from these quotes because they're just brainwashing you and thinking, oh, I like the sound of that. And, work smart, don't work hard. And, the 4-hour lifestyle working in a week, it's not realistic. And if you're subconsciously looking at these inputs, which is not realistic and it will get you absolutely nowhere, then continue. If you want to actually change things and be successful, listen to someone who's actually walked through the fires. I've done this for 10 years plus. I know what I'm talking about. Right, so I want to talk about stress, and there's actually 4 different kinds of stress. Number 1, real stress. And this is stress that experienced by those who've actually lived, for example, in the Great Depression. They've gone through war, extreme hardships. They've lost a parent at a young age. They've been born with disabilities. They don't have the ability to see, read, talk, hear, smell. This is real stress, okay? And 95% of you out there are fortunate and blessed enough to actually not even experience that. Number 2 is imaginary stress. So this is like anxiety, and when people panic about things that haven't even happened yet, and it's unbelievable. I come across people all the time like this. They have a wild imagination, and you might be stressed about an exam or the weather or, a future scenario that you've built up in your mind. Number 3, exaggerated stress. So this is where, for example, you're going through something minor, like say a breakup or, something like that, a toothache, and you'll blow it out of proportion and you'll act like the world's ending. The reality is this situation is probably a 2 out of 10 on the scale, but people treat it like it's an 8 or a 9. And then number 4, it's influence stress. So this is stress that comes from external influences like social media, the news, or other people's fears, like people that are influencing you. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be co-workers, people that you're around, people you listen to. TikTok, Instagram, other platforms, where you're just taking on other people's anxiety. And the reality is with social media, it really is cancer for the mind. Teachers, friends, family, all of them, they can influence your mindset. And again, this creates unwarranted, unnecessary stress. And again, this is very much targeted towards Gen Zers, because this is the ideology of how they live, which talking about it out loud, I just think it's delusional. I'd rather, blow my brains out than live in this type of manner, because I don't know how people do it. Anyway, ask yourself when it comes to stress, how much of it's actually real? So, is it exaggerated? 9 times out of 10, it probably is. That's the problem, right? That is the problem. So if we're talking about the people in that 5%, and these are the people who don't want to let external influences and, all these imaginary stresses impact their life, and they want to be a future leader, they want to contribute to society, they want to make a difference. They don't want to destroy their lives, and they actually want to unlock their full potential. A big problem is social media. Get it out your life. Get out your life right now. If you're not using social for business purposes, is there any point? Of course there isn't. At the end of the day, it just feeds your anxiety, your stress on a daily basis. You're subconsciously seeing other people. There might be like, if they're a woman, they might have more likes or more engagement. They might look nicer than you. There might be, I'd say, a restaurant or on a holiday. Not like it even matters, because, we're all adult enough to know social media is what you make it to be. And 99% of the time, it's fantasy. And same for guys as well, wasting time on social. If you're not got a product or a service to sell, or if you're not in a business, then you don't need it. It's a distraction. Successful people don't have time for social media. Social media is for people that are brain dead. Right. And then a lot of Gen Zers talk about that. They want to be in that, reality of content creation and being an influencer. And look, I work with Gen Zers, I have them on payroll and various other sort of relationships. And at the end of the day, 9 out of 10 of them are stressed out because they want to be influencers, because that's all that they see. People their ages, what's on social, people living a certain lifestyle. But let me tell you, content creation isn't as simple as talking to a camera, doing stupid dances on TikTok and hoping everything will manifest. Half of Gen Zs want to be influencers, but again, they don't understand the work that goes behind it. Again, influencing isn't about fun and game. It's about long hours. It's about burnout. It's never been able to disconnect from your phone or social media. And it's a 24/7 grind. You've always got to keep up with trends, what's happening here. And it's not an easy commitment. When people see a real influencer, a real content creator, what they don't see is the hours of planning, the marketing, the scripting, the digital marketing, and everything that comes in between. And believe me, I can tell you firsthand, it's massive. There's a massive workload. It's not easy. And a lot of people, Gen Zers, want to get into this space, but the reality is you can't hack it. And unless you're in that 5%, you're better off getting a 9 to 5. Back to social media, it really is an addiction. And I look at it like a drug. I look at it as like digital cocaine, because if you have a young child, you try and take their phone away from them, they'll throw a tantrum as if you've stole a limb off them. It's absolutely crazy in that regard. And also it comes down to the type of person you are. And typically people fall into one of three categories. You get people that are interested in a subject, right? So these people are just typically curious about a particular thing. So let's just refer back to being a content creator. They have an interest, they're curious, they want to know how it works, and they're in that bracket. Number two, you have people that are committed. So they're kind of halfway there, and that's only because they're interested and they've got one foot in the door. But the third group of people is the people that are obsessed, and these are the people who are fully committed and they'll do absolutely anything to make it happen. I'm talking about, rolling the dice, betting on black, and having that do or die mentality. Look, if you're only interested, you won't do enough in terms of what's necessary to achieve greatness. And if you're not achieving greatness, or if you don't aspire to achieve greatness, then why are you even bothering? It's just a complete waste of time. When you're obsessed with achieving your goals, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It doesn't feel like a chore. It's just the standard. So ask yourself, in whatever it is you're doing, are you obsessed or are you just interested? Ask yourself, are you really obsessed with your goals or are you just interested? Because if you're not obsessed, you're not going to make it. It's as simple as that. You need to find a way to make it work, and the future belongs to the people who find a way. No excuses, no setbacks, one foot in front of the next. They just make it happen. You have to earn your entitlement and your respect, and then you'll be needed, then you'll be desired, and only then will you actually reach your goals. So think about what I've said. Think about the hard-hitting truths. Think about which group of people, which type of people you fit in. Are you, committed, obsessed, etc.? And apply that to your real life, your current situation, and see, right, am I actually serious about what it is I'm doing? Do I fall in the category of that 95% of people who are lost in life, or do I want to be a part of that 5% where I'm winning, I've got my mind right, I'm successful, I'll be a future leader? If you got value from this video, hit the subscribe button and check in. We'll have daily content coming daily, of course. That's what daily content is. And check in for the next one, and we're signing out.